Good afternoon, Fellowship. It is Saturday, and I don't think I'm going to be able to do this in one take today. As you can tell, I'm not at home. I'm out doing a bottle drive. My wife's a nurse and fundraising to do a field school trip to Nepal. So we're out and about today, and I thought I'd make a video as we go along talking about how my philosophy of education affects what I do in the class. And part one. So as you may already know, I'm a rather staunch social constructivist, and what that means in my classroom is that we spend a lot of time going in depth on fewer topics rather than getting a surface understanding of a number of topics. So we spend a lot of time going over and over in different ways. I use a lot of discussion protocols because we do lots of group work and project-based learning, but we also do a lot of discussions, and I found that protocols for discussion work really well. And if you're not familiar with protocol, they tend to be a structure, literally, for discussion, and that really encourages a lot of active listening and deep thinking rather than just back and forth discussion that tends to be what we normally do. So it's kind of uncomfortable and difficult to work with in a lot of ways. It takes a lot of time to get used to. But the depth of understanding, as we peel back the layers of understanding or put on the layers in another sense, really helps students to get a really deep understanding. So, many hours later, it appears that it wasn't realistic thinking that I can vlog and do a bottle drive at the same time while driving the vehicle. Anyways, back at home now, and have finally have a few moments to record a little bit more. I think the next thing I was meaning to talk about was how personal social responsibility are a key aspect to how I teach. And I think it dovetails quite nicely with personal social responsibility. Personal social responsibility dovetail nicely with social constructivism. The way that looks in my class is, again, having a lot of discussions, talking about how that affects, but trying to take action as well. When we work on project-based learning, the final step of projects is often, now what? What are we going to do? What action are we going to take? How are we going to affect change? And how have we been changed? So there's where personal social responsibility come in. The third aspect to my philosophy of education is social emotional learning. I believe that when students are engaged, they learn best, but to increase that even is to make an emotional engagement in the learning. So we need to make students feel as much as learn, if that really makes sense. They need to be feeling what they're learning. And a quote that I try to live by in my classroom comes from Maya Angelou, and I'll paraphrase, but basically the extent is that people may not remember what you say to them, but they'll never forget the way you make them feel. So I try to foster that environment in my classroom, and I know most of us do, to make students feel like that they matter and that learning matters. So with that, I'll sign off for tonight. Thank you, folks. I will see you throughout the week.